Okay, might appear as though we have a pretty simple sermon today. You folks probably know love, right? You heard the word before, kind of the life of the church. Today is a Sunday of love. That's why we're here on the fourth Sunday of Advent. We kind of debated, we have church 9:30 in the morning, since we have a service at 5 and at 10, and we're going to do the Christmas story. I said, look, it's Sunday morning. We have church, right? Amen.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Well, we released that. But we wouldn't have 4 candles lit today. And we wouldn't have had the opportunity to talk about the 4th candle, which is love. So, real quick, can you folks kind of name out all the characters that are in a traditional nativity scene? Wise men, Mary and Joseph, shepherds, Jesus,
Gabriel.
angel Gabriel, somebody said?
Animals.
Sheep. You guys didn't get the animals yet. Donkey. Camels. Yeah, really good. Cow. Stars. All right. You guys know the story. I want to show you real quick 3 things that I think are pretty cool. This is a picture of the wise men offering their gifts to Mary. You can kind of make out the baby a little bit on the far right hand of the screen. This came from like the 2nd century, and it's in a catacomb. And so very early on in the life of the church, this nativity story meant a lot to people. And the connection to love and life was made from the very beginning. So you see, this is a traditional way of showing the wise men coming to Jesus. And already the wise men are beginning to take their own personal identity. The next one I'm going to show you is, this is from a tomb. And that is baby Jesus in the tomb. And there are animals all around, and there's something like a cornucopia in the corner with birds eating out of it, which is a sign of life, right? The abundant life, the cornucopia. It was very interesting, and this is the earliest actual carving of the nativity that has ever been found. It goes back to the 4th century, which is a time even before Christianity was legal. People were carving these kinds of things on tombs. Here is another sarcophagus, and the thing I like about this one, you might notice that they got the gifts in their hands. Baby Jesus is pretty mature there, don't you think? And he's reaching out to take whatever that is. And I like the guy pointing to the star. See, the star gets in there all of a sudden, and it's up in the corner. And the message of all of this, the animals and everything, is that love is a part of the fabric of the universe. And all people and all things, all humans, all types of humans, all types of animals, even the stars and the moon are in tune with this love and life that Jesus was bringing into the world. And really pretty early on, the animals played a significant part in the nativity because they represented both the Greeks and the Jewish folks who were coming to Jesus. So every object in the nativity has its own purpose. But the point that I want to make is that we've had 2,000 years of people imagining things about Mary. But Mary was not chosen because she had any special virtue or there was anything different about her. She was chosen because she was an everyday person. And the people who came to the nativity were also people from every walk of life. So the point that this is making is that all of us, no matter who we are, can come to this spiritual practice. That God moves in unexpected places. And you don't have to come with any particular virtue. All you have to do is to say, yes, I want to be on the path. And for me, that's the greatest thing that we can lift up in the life of the church, is that it's not about our virtue. It's about our being on a path and following the spiritual practices of Jesus. And no matter who we are, to encourage people who may feel insignificant. Now, one of the things that I want to say is that in the Gospels, the disciples always come off looking like goofballs. Did you ever notice that? They never understand what Jesus is saying. They deny him. They betray him. They don't understand him. But yet, Jesus keeps pulling them along and showing them new things. And so, there's even in scholarly literature, there's this thing called the misunderstanding of the gospel. People for centuries have been trying to figure this out. If these guys are disciples, why do they fail all the time? And the reason is so that we realize it's not about our own success or failure. It's not about our own goodness. It's about being on the path and continuing to follow Jesus, even when we might feel that we're not worthy, even when we might feel that we're not of a high enough stature. Now, Mary's song that she sings is called the Magnificat. Some of you may know it from music. But it has to do with some pretty serious political things. And listen to what she's saying. Mary was singing about real things. Mary was singing about economic equality and justice. And I also want to remind you, the reason why they were going to Bethlehem was because of a Roman census where they were told how much taxes they had to pay, because Rome was brutally oppressing those people. So this was really a sad journey into Bethlehem, because it was another sign of the oppression of even a woman who was almost expecting, was forced by the Roman Empire to walk that far to be there so that their heads could be counted and they could give their money. Perhaps that's why there was no place for them in the inn, because they didn't have anything left after the Roman government took it. But listen to what quiet little Mary, that we're told, dreamed about for her son. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. For God has looked with favor on the lowliness of a servant. God has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. God has filled the hungry with good things. Now, did you know that's the first thing that was in Mary's mind when Jesus was born? That he was here to change the world. That he was here to do things a little bit differently. So I have this discussion thing, and I want you to consider these questions. When is it hard for us to say yes to God? What makes Mary able to say it? How can we follow her example? And what is one way we can show God's love this Christmas? Anybody have anything they want to mention about that?
I think it's hard to say yes to God every day.
It's hard to say yes to
Because I'm
God.
usually not listening.
A part of it is we have to hear that. Hear that. Right. Somebody else?
Yeah, I said, one way we could show God's love is for students is by giving and opening our hearts.
By giving, right? Realizing that we're connected to everyone else. Yeah.
I think what makes Mary able to say yes is that she wasn't looking at her own abilities or strengths. She was looking at her weakness and saying, God will, work through me, and I don't have to have the power to do it.
Right. That's an important point. Is God will do it, not us. There.
Reaching out to others.
It's it is a time of year we reach out to all sorts of people. Just as Jesus, if you look at the life of Jesus, he reached out to all sorts of people. Just as the Nativity kind of illustrates. All sorts of people are interested in that. What makes Mary able to say drives you to do what you do. Sometimes you would put yourself in situations that if you were thinking about yourself, you wouldn't want to go there. But you know that you can help somebody, and so you go and you do it because you know the need is there. So part of Mary is that she experienced this oppression, and she knew her need, and she knew the needs of her people, and saw Jesus as someone who is going to come and relieve that suffering. Children, wait to relieve that suffering. Anybody else want to tackle a question there? We only have 2 Gospels that talk about the Nativity, so we don't have much to go by. If you get a chance, read the first chapter of the Gospel of John, because he puts it in a cosmic sense. You know, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, the Word was God. This amazing story about who Jesus is in the light and the darkness. But the Gospel of Luke was a Greek tract or appeal to people who were Greek. And so he focused on Mary and Elizabeth, which was John the Baptist's mother, and their perspective on the Nativity. And the Gospel of Matthew was written by someone who was Jewish, and he was appealing to the Jewish audience. And so he appealed through that patriarchal system of appealing through Joseph. And we often forget in our modern retelling of the Christmas story that God also appeared to Joseph in a dream. And also, you might remember Zechariah, John the Baptist's father, who was struck speechless when he was doing his duties in the temple. And he also had this vision. So sometimes all we need to say is that the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Because Christmas is about a dream. It's about the dream of a better life. It's a dream of living in the flow of God's Spirit. And both Gospels talk about that. So, okay, so what is this, Larry? Who are all these characters here? What do you think? One of them looks like Scrooge.
They're all Scrooge.
They're all Scrooge. These are all the different variations. How many of you gone to like a theater and saw that story? And most of these are television. The bottom right is Jim Carrey's animated version of that. And a dream was what? A transformative moment, right? In their lives. It was a transformative moment. And a dream changed their lives. My soul magnifies the Lord. And so what happened to this person? He lost his personal self-interest and began to realize that all people are connected. So if you begin to look even at the cultural retelling of the Christmas story, and I kind of played with it a little bit with the Little Drummer Boy, but look through the Grinch, look at all those stories. The end point is always the same. The end message is always the same. It's losing yourself in service to God and others. Keep an eye on that. I mean, any story you see, it's got that punchline. So one of the things that we did during the call to worship was we quoted Bob Goff. Anybody know who Bob Goff is? He's a guy, he's got this organization called Dream Big. He was a lawyer, and he decided he didn't want to be a lawyer anymore because of some of the bad things that he did to people, frankly. And so he went to Uganda, and he started an organization called Dream Big. And this was one of his statements. Sometimes I'm always afraid to quote people because I never know exactly what they did. And I'm afraid I'm going to quote somebody that did something like that. So I always vet these things, okay? So I vetted Bob Goff, and believe me, that's what he does. He goes around and he gives these seminars on how good you will feel when you no longer do things out of your own personal self-interest, like he did, but when you go somewhere and you serve. And so join with me in this again, if you will. I used to think you had to be special for God to use you. did, that's what Joseph did, and they had a dream for the world. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't like a personal dream. It was a dream for the cosmos. It was a dream for the world. So consider how important that dream was for Joseph and Mary. And how was it that they had this dream and they raised Jesus in such a way to know, in a sense, why he was born? To deliver a message and to share the dream. The dream of the gifts, of hope, of peace, of joy, of love. So one of the lessons of Advent is that you cannot live without a dream. Scientists try to figure out why it is that we sleep and why it is that we have dreams. And the best thing that they can figure out is that it has to do with you need a dream. Our brains need dreams in order to function properly. We all need a guiding philosophy, a guiding image to help us to live our lives. And so our guiding image is to make this real gift alive in the world. And one of the lessons of Advent is we can't live without dreams. So be sure that you listen to your dreams. And that no matter what happens, no matter what the world might look like, no matter how badly you might be persecuted or how many times you fail, you just have to say yes. And Advent is a time when we dream about the world the way it ought to be, God's world. And we can see in the lives of so many people what happens when you pay attention